All right, good morning, good morning, good morning, my neighbors. Welcome to another episode of BYTTT. Before you take the trade, gotta adjust my. I think the kids played with my camera a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Good morning. Got a lot of work to do. A lot. I am sorry about yesterday. As you noticed, I had to do a almost like a road trip version of it. That was not intentional, but unfortunately, my season's starting to kick off. So I'm trying to find ways I can still do everything while still get some work done at the same time. So bear with me in this transition. That said, let's go ahead and get some work done. Here we go. All right. Here's my 8 grid. Let me go ahead and get rid of this. That way it doesn't cause any confusion. Actually, let's get rid of all these drawings in itself. Let's really kind of like break down as a whole what could be going on with NQ. I do think SPX at its all-time establishing some new highs is putting a little bit of pressure on NQ to continue to perform as well. Of course, you already know that inside of NQ you have your S&P 500 stuff. Your Nvidias are on both. Tesla's, I believe, is on both. And I could go down the list. Microsoft, all of it, right? So it's a tech base, but it's also S&P 500. Now, because we have this bearish fair value gap that we keep rejecting at, I do feel like the bears are getting a little bearish on tech, and it's a massive run in itself. But again, S&P 500 can power this thing right back up. So we're gonna go ahead and look at the chart. Looks like a W. It really does look like a W, and it could continue to that upside that will look something along the lines of bing, 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 right? So that is a very strong possibility. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at this, that we already broke through the neckline and we just created a new resistance based on this fair value gap. And this fair value gap is the one that's putting a little bit of pressure. So we'll see how that works out. All right, so let's go over to crude oil. Crude oil, it did its job. It did what I was expecting it to do. So now I am anticipating something like this, and I'll call that another angle of a pivot. So, and then I'll look at like this, right? So there's a lot to be desired here when it's all set it up, because now CL is starting to really push into that. We'll probably get like a bumper run to the upside. All right, so you could kind of see breaking through this level, breaking through this order block with some strength. I will not be surprised that we do something like this. This is our rejection, and then we start to really chop up and then break into here. Now, there's going to be a lot of question marks here. If this actually does that, it's going to put pressure on this side. So depending on how they hold this pressure, we're probably going to do a 50% retracement, and then we come back down and make lower lows. Or as we try to get through the 618, that is going to break the trend. So based on this whole entire downward swing, high, swing low, if this thing really starts to break the upper register of that trend line, we're going to be coming out and going to probably 76, $80. These are the levels I've been looking at as far as good pivot points for sellers to step in. So we'll see how that relatively works. All right, let's go. Actually, you know what? Did I update my thing? Okay, I did. Yeah, because I did. I called that one. I called that one road trip. I just want to make sure I didn't call this a road trip. That way, people don't think I'm on the road again. All right. So moving on. Gold. I gave y'all the warnings before. There's a strong possibility we could get to 2,700. We had that 27. We're very close to that 2,700. Does new buyers step into here? There's a lot of psychological information here that we're going to be looking at as far as a whole, to see if it makes sense for them to continue to that upside. Now, my question here, and I will not get rid of that question at all, is the fact one is contract expiration, right? We got a contract expiration gap, And when we bounce hard, and we haven't looked back ever since. So 2300 now to 2700, and then we'll go over to silver, and you already know silver is doing its thing. This is what I was telling y'all. The reason why we're getting to that 2700 on gold, the reason we are, is because silver is starting to really get into that upper register. They consolidated here, and just gold just slowly, worked its way up while silver consolidated. This massive move is probably the thing that's propping up all metals. And if you want to take a challenge, what was it? Copper. Oh, there we go. I just had it pop up. There's copper. This thing is trying to make its way, but it's consolidating. It hasn't made a real drop. Platinum hasn't made a real drop. So all these metals are being driven by the performance of how gold is holding. So just keep that in mind. These are probably your laggards when it's all said and done. And silver is only because silver is put the wrong one. Silver is so popular. That's probably the reason why that this one looks more like a bullish momentum. But if you look at all of them, they're just holding steady at these levels. Why? Because the dollar is dropping. As soon as the dollar value starts to really rock it off, you're going to see people going to start jumping into cash. But we'll see. We will see. This is the British pound. If you do not have the British pound on your chart, I do suggest that you have the British pound. The British pound does tell us that we usually are in sync with the market. The dollar loses value, the market is in sync with the British pound. That means we're getting proper catalyst and we start to move up. So this is one of the main reasons why I have pivoted to more of a current bullish state, even though I tend to be generally bearish. But you can see nice new highs here. It looks like we're starting to top out going into the end of the month. We might finish this whole entire month the way it is green. It's a possibility, but we'll see how that holds, because I will not be surprised, because I don't think we're going to get a full pull, but maybe we will. Let's see how much of the pull we got resolved so far. So here's our swing. Boom. Here's our pull. Bang. Here's our Fibonacci. Some MAC ears. And probably about this level here. That's probably what they're looking for. And we are starting to make some very tiny candles. And this thing is not really telling me that we can pin like this right here. It pinned to that upper register and came here. But a nice little reset without making lower lows is probably what I would be looking for in the British pound to continue to that upside. And then ES, this is what I was saying about ES. It made new highs in itself. Again, most of this prop up is based on the contract expiration. But again, we're talking about levels, and we are at this level. I don't like how it kind of rejected. If this trend line starts to break, actually, let me fix that trend line. Let me adjust that. I'm going to go with this on here. And then I'm going to ignore that as an anomaly. And we're going to go ahead and go with this pivot here. That one made a new high, so I'm at this low. Actually, did it make a new high here? Yeah, I'm at this low here. So this one, the high was 57.94. This one was 57.97. 57.94. Yep. So this is higher than there. So my pivot point is here. So this is our structure here. This is what I'm looking for as an area of possible retest as a whole. Again, this thing can just flat out just consolidate the whole entire time until it gets right there, and then it finally decides to go ahead and break out. Or it could do something like this, where it kind of comes up to here and doesn't make a new high, start to come back, get a bounce from here, and then make new highs. I feel like this scenario is more healthy, so we can kind of see. Of course, we'll be filling this contract expiration gap and get some help there. Russell, remember that order block I told you about? Looks like it's using as support. This is the order block off of the order block that was here. Now, this thing's starting to trend here. I will not be surprised that the Russell is green today. I will not be surprised. Get a nice little close here, and then probably the momentum will carry us from Wednesday into Thursday on some bullish momentum. Probably go test into this area here. But it's all predicated to some of the jobs reports and news that's coming out. Why you haven't drawn my level? Looking for rejection. Oh, I'm pressing the wrong button. That's why. There we go. Boom and boom. There we go. That's what I was looking for. So that level, that's probably would be my target if I was looking to try to play the Russell. So just keep that one in mind. All All right. And then last but not least is the dollar. The dollar is bearish, of course. We have been in this death cross ever since the middle of August. So remember August 5th, that was that big rally. Where's August 5th? Right here. That was that big rally, nice little bounce, but the dollar didn't go nowhere. So that's why it felt a little fishy, right? And a lot of people started piling in, and that's what kind of created that whole entire momentum in itself. So I'm looking at the fact that the dollar is failing to break any of these. Actually, let me get rid of this. I don't need that anymore. Failing to change the tide, reverse the tide a little bit. This is kind of like one angled pivot. Let's take this one here. This is the roof that is sitting on top of it, and then you got this angle that is pretty much. So a nice little consolidation until it gets to here. Maybe. But until then, I am looking at the fact that this one is starting to put a little bit of a test, and it's probably, oops, actually that's not the angle. Let's zoom in. Yeah, that is not the angle. It's more like, actually, yeah, right here. And then this one is pretty much our area of interest now, like that. So this is the last line of defense, dollar. If you don't behave and start to push up, that dollar might go under that $100 mark. All right, market's open. Let's go ahead and get really into it as far as our 15-minute. All right, so today I am going to do a few things. I'm going to do my normal, which is the orb, the open range breakout. Very common. It's not no secret. I don't coin it as my strategy, but I just want to break it down and just give you the most simplest thing so that way you can go ahead. Let me see if I can get my remote control working today, because this thing has been very funky. Yeah, it's not working. So we'll tap that out. So opening range is it's not mine. It's not. I don't own it. I don't have any type of establishment to it in itself. It's very common. Probably gonna be playing that, right? The other thing I'm gonna be breaking down is NQued, and the NQued is a indicator that I kind of developed, and I'm looking for almost a sense of large price action. It could be cash in, cash out, whatever reason. I don't care. I'm a trader. I'm going to go ahead and take the opportunities that's presented itself. Oh, looks like my pizza position is getting his butt whooped. Let me go tap in over there and see what's going on. Yep. It's getting his butt whipped really well. Let me get rid of this. Oh, it doesn't add no confusion. Alright, starting to look more like an M pattern. I think they might be going and looking and testing to see if they can find some more friends. Probably going back to that 48 level. So we got ourselves, we come to the 1 hour. And then the daily. So we got this angle here that is new sellers that stepped in. I still think we're going to touch the 200 EMA. Yeah, this was February 2024. We're almost to the end of the year. I think we're going to touch the 200 EMA. So this $56 is probably where it's going to go. If it blasts through there, then we get through that gap. That's what I've been targeting from the get-go. But looks like we got ourselves a nice little retracement. I played this on a falling wedge, and we got a nice little pullback. But if we take a whole entire swing from here about I'm not sure what is happening with my mic, but lately it's been doing this thing. I'm gonna have to probably reinstall my software. It's been clipping out my mic. All right. But yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I think we're gonna get ourselves a nice. Oh, let me check my P&L. Let me see if I can get that on par for y'all, because now it's on the future side. I gotta adjust this thing. All right, where are you going to locate? Wait, are you on the wrong screen? Yeah, I think you're on the wrong screen. Let's fix that. Yep, you're on the wrong screen. Need you on this one. All right. So that takes care of that. Probably do something like this. And that should show the price there. And I'll trade something over there. Actually, let me bring that over more. I gotta figure out what's going on with this mic. It's not doing its job, and it's being very, very annoying. And I'm not gonna be upset right now, but now I got my mic working here. Hopefully, out there. Good morning. Good morning. I appreciate that. Absolutely. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't liked, subscribe, or hit the bell button, by all means, take the opportunity to do so. Now, I'm looking for Celsius to do a double bottom here. Okay, let me take a step back. So the Celsius is just on a decline. This is more of a lotto-ish type of play. I'm not saying for y'all to pile in right now, but you can kind of see impulsive, 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 right? But we're starting to get impulsive, 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 not too much, maybe, and we're finishing here. I'm looking for, because they're actually a decent company. If you know Red Bull, they do the energy drinks and stuff like that. This is Celsius. But I'm thinking that this is the order block, and because we're between the 200 and the 50 on the monthly, that this is going to be a test for them to go back and see where they want to stop. Could it be here? Could it be here? I would love for it to get to here. That would be really great. But 1, 2, 3, 4 months of red, I feel like it's just shareholders taking their profits, and it's going to go from there. Actually, our 15 minutes is established. Let's get back over to NQ. That's what happens when you have technical difficulties. I don't know what's going on with this microphone. I have to. I don't know. Maybe it's my dog. I don't know. We'll figure it out. All right. Actually, that established perfectly. So we got ourselves our 15-minute orb right there. So NQ, the way I kind of look at it, we got a nice little impulsive move here, and we had a little bit of a sell-off here. So if you were to come down to like, I don't know, maybe like a 1-minute chart, the moment that we kind of got at right here, could there be sell-off? But again, we got a nice little reversal. So I would love for this to start to kind of like trend down, just to kind of show y'all a different variation, right? This is we're still gonna worry about our orb, but for my scalpers out there, I'm just gonna look at this in this perspective, kind of give you a little bit of an idea of what I'm thinking here. All right, so we kind of got a little bit of a push down. Let's see what this is looking like. Still looks bullish because we're in the bullish state on the MACD and everything else. This could be our trend down. This could be it. We are playing inside of a range. Or did they pick up new buyers and they're looking for that higher high up there? We'll see. We'll see. We got 30 seconds on this candle. Let's go with a feeler. I just want to show y'all how this works. So I'm going to do an MNQ to kind of give y'all a sense of how it works. All right, so we're going to do a feeler on this one. Looks like we're starting to kind of pull this thing a little bit. Can y'all see that? Yeah, I can see that. All right, so I'm looking for it not to continue to make highs, but it just made a new high just to keep my stop loss tight. That's what I was looking for. But basically, I was looking for it to start to trend down, which it did for a minute. And if we look at this chart here, let me grab my trend line. Yeah, I'm gonna get out of this position. Yep. It was a little bit of an aggressive position in itself, but I was looking for this not to break out, and we're breaking out. So you cut the trade. Bye bye. Get out of there. All right. So we'll see if we can find another setup in itself. I feel like they're luring the bears to come in. We might just stay inside of this range. I've seen us do that type of action for the whole entire day. That will be annoying, but let's come back over to the 15-minute. So for the opening range, right? Actually, we're probably going to dump again. I'm looking for a 5-minute close above this level, which is that 20.006, and this one didn't. So maybe we do pullback. See if I find a second shot at this scalp. Nice little rejection here. Still don't like how the 1 minute is. The 1 minute is probably going to push right back up again. But I am anticipating that there was a sense of pullback. Now, could that pullback just be what they did earlier? Right here? Could this pullback be waiting for a level so that way the pullback can take off? Could it be this level? Could it be an M? Possibly. Now we got 20 seconds on this candle. So now I'm looking for this to turn into that, like that. And I am going to toss in another feeler. Give it 2 shots. I try not to go past 3 shots at a setup, but we'll see. There we go. We got like 32. All right. All right, go hold it. Hold the door. Hold the door. Hold the door. Hold the door. I thought I could get one more red. Come on, give me one more. Nope, it's not gonna give me if it's single digits. All right, let me get out of there. Very simple, right? What I'm looking for, and I'll probably look for another spot depending on how this holds here. And you can see how you jerks. I'm looking for it to just respect this trend line itself. Didn't really make higher highs, and we're playing inside of the opening range breakout. I do not want to sit there inside of a range. I don't. But if I see a nice little scalping opportunity, I'm going to take it. All right, let me see where I'm at. $20 for right now. I'll switch back over to NQ when we get to that opening range. All right. And that's you see how we're pushing through this trend line? That's why I was thinking that they're doing. Now this is the accumulation here. All right, let's come over to the 5-minute again. What does the 5-minute kind of tell you? The 5-minute is giving you lower highs, higher lows, and a little bit of a higher high. But then now we're kind of building this inside bar. Good. I like inside bars that's building because there's some sense of consolidation. And if you are going to pick a thesis, right, this is probably the best spot to do it, right? Because the consolidation is happening and allows for you to get some of the better prices. And if you are correct on that breakout, you should be able to get a little bit deeper into that profit. But wait for it. Wait for it. Just wait for it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Might be it. Might be it. But let me go ahead and run to my green list a little. Actually, you know what? I was looking at XLU with a friend of mine, and we was kind of like talking about this. Utilities is one of the ones that, you know, a lot of people kind of like run to as a safe space. And I kind of like how the chart looks a little bit. And I think it's due for a pullback. So a nice little pullback, reposition, and continue to the upside. Keep an eye on utilities like Next Era Energy, Duke Energy, and so on and so on. All right, just keep that in mind. Just give y'all a little tidbit. But here's my green list. Let's talk about UNH. UNH, this thing has not given me a level that I feel very comfortable with. And the level that I wanted was a nice little bounce here and stay above it. And this one is not really giving that uptrend. So I think they're starting to cool this bad boy down. I would love to see it at this 550 level. We'll see what happens. All right, NQ is doing something fun. All right, there we go. I sent my message. Make sure I get my work done. Oh, there we go. That's what I was thinking. All right, here's our 5-minute right now. Our 5-minute is starting to do its job. Is it going to break out of there? Let's get rid of this trend line. Now you see why I kind of scalped that one, right? And you can see how we started to reject that a little bit. Now this time, I'm gonna show y'all a little bit of different variation, only because recently, the break of the opening range, it tend to almost like take off, and when it finally breaks through, it's so massive you would have to have a crazy stop loss. So what I want to see normally when the opening range breakout, it's almost like get it here and then close above here, no more than that. But when it gets to like up here, I just will not do that. So I'm going to look for this thing to start its party, which now we're making new higher highs here. I'm gonna be extra cautious with it because again, 200 is a psychological level. All right. That was a nice little pull. Let's see if I can get. I thought I could get one red candle here, but it looks like they're going to continue all the way up. There we go. That's what I was kind of looking for. Something like that. Let's see if that holds. Let me bring this P&L down so I can see it. probably gonna pull back a little deep because what I'm trying to do is ride the momentum of this 5 minute, assuming that the 5 minutes gonna hold its weight. Yeah, and that's what I thought was gonna happen. All right, so that's our pullback, and I think they're gonna step in and recapture the value gap. If it does not, and it makes a lower low again, I'll get out. What I mean lower low is because this 1 minute here, let me give you that, right? I wanted to finally establish a base here, and it's struggling to do so a little bit. And it could be because now we're back inside of that fair value gap I was talking about earlier. So I'm trying to weather the storm of this pullback. That was violent. That was violent. See that violent sell? That was because the new 1 minute just kicked in. If it breaks this high of this candle, I should be really, really golden, but look like it's struggling with it. So what I'm going to do, my stop is technically below here. And again, this is an aggressive way of entering. Remember, I like when the 5 minute closes, and we got 2 minutes to survive this and not get liquidated in the process. But I will not entertain it if it does this. Now again, this is the stochastic. It's on that top register. The MACD is in a bullish state. Of course, inside here would have been in a better position, but I'm trying to find out the safest spots to enter. And you're going to get some chop in the middle of that. All right, looks like it held. Oof, come on, hold the door. 30 seconds. Gotta weather this for 30 seconds, and then now we're gonna get ourselves the 5 minute close above. You know, sharper entry. That's what we was looking for. Hold that door. There we go. We got ourselves 34 ticks. I did add to my position because I was being very conscious about it. I think my stop is going to be roughly about 10 ticks. I am one of those individuals. I'm very disciplined as far as my stops, and I'm structured on what I look for. That's about 77 ticks. I can't let you get under 50. I'm not going to let you get under 50. So I know what I'm looking for. So I'm not one that puts a automated stop. If we could get one more spike. Can we get one more spike up? Can we get one more spike up? Is this our breakout? Alright, can't let you get under 60. Oh, don't you be this up. I'm taking my 58 and I'm out. And that was a quick little scalp. That's the other side of taking a trade on the opening range breakout. I hope y'all were able to understand everything, because I know I was talking it while I was in the middle of the trade. I know this show usually goes to 10:15. I do have some other stuff I have to get done. Oh, shout out to Neo. Neo just dropped his episode number 33 as a Sauce Factory. If you haven't followed, thanks Neo. Go ahead and take that opportunity and go hit up Thanks Neo. He usually drops some really, really good gems inside of there. But yeah, so I usually go into about 10:15 on a normal day. But I hit my number that I wanted roughly on that one. It recovered that amount and then some, and it was a solid opening range breakout. So that said, I am going to just run through some tickers, and I understand you probably tap out right around here. That's okay. But generally, okay. Generally, this is how it works, right? You gotta find. I didn't want to trip into mindset, but I guess I'm gonna fall right into it. You gotta find a strategy that's gonna work for you, right? We were for almost a couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks. we've been doing the opening range. It might do another spike up right now. We were doing an opening range breakout to the upside, right? And we were looking for the close above. But lately, that close above you're talking about, and for my NQ players, and this would have been good for stocks. If you did not get in on stocks and options right now, you should be happy with the ticks that you have, right? I mean, the percentages you have. You're talking about stop loss that brings you about 58 ticks. Yeah, that's a deep stop loss. It's not too bad, but you're talking about if you want to be at structure, maybe 85 to about 101. That's when it gets real tricky. So if you're going candle to candle, maybe, but the 5 minute closed like this. So we're talking about from here to here. That's the close. Now, again, I know some Fibonacci players, and the Fibonacci players are probably okay with this. You take it from here to here, and you get your, let me change the template, not that one. I need my 236, right? Take your first shot at the 236, second shot at the 382, and then the 50% is the other one, as long as it shows you the reversals in your time frame that you're looking for. That's another way of doing it. Again, my design is to kind of just show you, hey, guess what? This is the opening range breakout, especially in large consolidations. The large consolidations at the open are big opportunities. And then you got your consolidations towards the end of the hour, which is that power hour, right? So those are really good spots to kind of find trades. Power hour for the first hour is over at 10:30. That's why I do 10:15, because if you didn't make your money between 9:15 and 10:15 while you prepared, got everything set up, then you're pretty much setting yourself up for the okie doke for any trade after that. So I hope that you were able to kind of generate some of the funds from that. Another thing also, my strategy is predicated on lower time frame. Maybe your lower time frame doesn't affect you as much because you're just watching only one chart. However your strategy is, as long as it generates a profit and it keeps you consistent, you can make hard-nosed rules that tells you, why am I looking in the first place? What is my entry? And when do I take my profit or hit my stop loss? And then reassess. It does not mean, oh, they hit my take profit or there's more, let me just jump right back in. No. It does not mean they hit my stop loss, oh, you know what, I can still see the opportunity, let me jump back in. No. If that's not part of your plan, don't execute that. But generally speaking, this was a really good trade because, again, the momentum after we get that opening range breakout seemed to catch on. It's almost like they're, let me come back to the 5 minute, get rid of this. It's almost like lately in the market, and no market is going to be exactly the same. The moment we break the high off the rejection here is one of the ways that they get in. Another way that they're getting in, they're probably setting their limit orders right above the order, maybe even here, to make sure they got enough momentum and it catches. But this candle by itself was 29 points, 29 times 4, so it's over 100 ticks, so 127 if my math is correct, 136. So you're talking about 136 ticks on that candle, and they could wipe this whole entire thing on a V-shaped recovery and just eat the whole entire candle. That's why you get those reverse engulfing candles, right? So those are a couple things I want y'all to keep in mind. So not saying this is now the rule for us. I just wanted to show y'all a variation versus how we normally do things, as far as we wait for the candle to close. I think y'all a little bit more advanced, but this is going to be one and only time I kind of do that, or at least vocally explaining it. I might be taking a trade just like that if I see the opportunities that way. And the real goal is you should be getting in at one of these wicks. Actually, this would have been probably a really good spot as it pulled back, and we did not make any lower lows on the 5 minute. The 5 minute still looks bullish, and this thing could take off and they build up momentum to take out 250. That's how I think. That's how I think the market operates. But we'll see what happens here. What else I got for y'all? We'll probably run through some tickets. Let's run through some tickets. We'll come back to this 5 minute. We'll see in 3 minutes if it comes back over here. So Microsoft. Microsoft is one of the biggest catalysts that is probably driving tech right now. Let's go ahead and grab this report here, and I'm going to put on the side here. Telemarketers. I'm going to put to the side here one of my other charts to kind of keep an eye. Yeah, you know, there was something someone told me about TGTX. I'm gonna have to check that out in a little bit. So Microsoft, when we're looking at this is starting to look more and more like a bull flag on the daily. More and more, right? So we got ourselves a nice little area right here. Bull flag breakout will take us to probably get into this wick area that happened over here on 448, and then we just get smacked at 550. But if we're playing the poles, this pole should extend and even take out to this level here. Like I said, I'm not a fan of tech. I really think that tech is completely and utterly toppy. It's top heavy. So that's why I'm looking at Microsoft as opportunities. Again, if you're going to take your opportunities, absolutely take your opportunities. If you want to do long term, don't let me dissuade you. It's just how I see it. But yeah, we kind of consolidate in price here. If it consolidates well, never breaks 425, then that means they're accumulating at 425. You can get yourself a nice little bounce there. MasterCard. This is one that really annoyed the crap out of me because I was looking for this thing to do a bull flag breakout. This had to been, when did I draw this? I would not be surprised if it probably was middle of July, because I usually do like two tops here and I probably did a low here, and I'm like, oh, this is what it needs to break. And then when we gapped up, I was like, oh man, they just really trying to take people's money. So they probably accumulated and got a lot of that sell side liquidity. And when they came back down under the trend line, I stopped looking at it because I was like, oh, okay, maybe they just came for that and that. But this thing just took off. It took off. So I like where it is right now at that 488. It did not put in a bearish divergence here. I think whatever pullback here, maybe to the 50 EMA, is going to bring in new buyers. So just keep that one in mind. Let's go back over to NQ. Yeah, you see that? That's the 5 minute. So if you were, and again, this is just different strategies. We know the fair value gap is established here, right? There's another one. The moment that we establish that, are the buyers still in or not? I don't know. Who knows? No one ever knows, right? But we had a nice little uptrend here, right? Couldn't make lower lows. So if I was to get in, I'll get in somewhere inside of here. Probably use a lower time frame, like a 1 minute chart. And the moment that I noticed that it didn't get close to this level, looks like it's about to take it out. Now I'm looking for my stop loss to be somewhere inside of here. Very, very sound way of looking at, because what ends up happening, you're looking for the support of everyone here to help you, and you probably have like a 45 tick stop loss if you were up to here. If you were able to get into this area here somewhere and maybe even stop about here, you're talking about maybe 37 to 20 to 37 ticks, and that's a sharper entry. And now it's reversing itself up and you're at 69, and you could properly follow your trade. So that's one way of doing it. But that said, I am one that likes the 45 minute chart, and this thing looks unbalanced. It looks like in 20 minutes, some way, fashion, or form, there's going to be some type of pullback. Now, if it happens before the 20-minute closes, look, that's not a really good sign, because I want to be able to get the buy side liquidity inside of this candle. But it looks like this thing's going to hold. I will not be surprised that this thing goes all the way to 275, 2275. Let's call it that. Here's our fair value gap back here. Where are you? Where are you, fair value gap? Let me go to the daily. That's where I want to see it. We're into the fair value gap. So the whole purpose of the bulls was to liquidate the bears, and whatever bears are still lingering here, they're feeling more and more pain until new bears step in, either by the buyers that stepped in at these levels or the sellers that were waiting and lingering to sell around that 470, 475. So 250 is gonna be fun. 250 is gonna be that area to kind of really watch. I think if it closes above 250, yeah, I might pull the trigger and try to snatch that. If not, I might just stay on the bullish side and just keep running to the upside with them. Run with the bulls. All right, let's go ahead and keep this moving. Let's go to NVIDIA. NVIDIA is probably another one that's probably powering this up. NVIDIA's chart looks like this. It looks like a symmetrical triangle as they're hitting to the top of it. And yeah, NVIDIA. Here's your block. Actually, I got to make a phone call to somebody. We was just talking about NVIDIA. Probably coming into this area. Inside of this block. We're at the block. W's at top of uptrends are not the most sound situation you want to get into unless you get in at key levels of support. So please, 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 please make sure you are doing your charting. Do not just jump in because it looks good and that's a green candle. You're going to be part of the liquidity. So I want to see what they do with that. Looks like NVIDIA is going to fill a gap. So that could be the play. Get up into 125.60. If it gets enough momentum, it might blast off and go right through this order block. Get above 131. So we'll see. It'll be funny if it gets into that 140 again, chasing that 150 and then build some type of bearish divergence. But NVIDIA is now breaking through on the daily through the MACD 09. All right, let's give you all one more. What do I want to give y'all? Give y'all one more. Let me give y'all Meta. Let's talk about Meta. What's a Meta with you? All right. So this one, I was looking at 600 as a possibility, but Meta is very toppy. They have been making all-time highs. We're finishing the week as a doji, but we did cross up here. So could we get to the 600 and then reject? Possibly, but we'll see what happens from there. Right now, I think that because of this pullbacks here, the buyers aren't as super strong. They just use accumulation phases. The moment it sells, a lot of these are new buyers. They didn't get it at the lows. That's my theory. So be careful with Meta, but it does look good when it's making all-time highs. Let's go over to the 1 hour real quick. See how the 1 hour is kind of like pinching and the MACD just crossed that here? This could be a key entry between, let's call it 463 and 470. I probably would get something a little further out and consider maybe aiming for that 474 to 490. 470. 574 to 590. And if it holds above 462, that'll probably be my stop. I'll probably continue to that upside. But I do think there's going to be some cool down. Let's see what the 4 hour looks like. Yeah, nice little gap up, engulf. If it close this 4 hour just like this could be a nice little run. Nice little run. But we'll see. We'll see. That said, it is 9:15. I'm going to leave y'all with NQ. Last tidbit here. 5-minute chart. See, even with the 5-minute chart, breakout, pullback, base, nice doji, take it above the breakout, boom, and as long as it doesn't make any support here, support here, support here, support here, stay in. Probably the best way to do it. And that's it. I bid you a fond farewell. Thank you again for chiming in with me. Like I said, I am working on doing something more mobile, so that way I can be able to get some work done and still be able to give y'all the charts. So please, by all means, bear with me as I learn the transition. If you like the content, by all means, like, subscribe, hit the bell button. That way you know when I'm online. And last but not least, down below, if you are a funded trader and you want to get funded, Elite has a special 48 flash sale. $35 gonna get you. Until we meet again, see you tomorrow at 9:15 for Before You Take the Trade. Have a great day. Bye bye.
Finish.